Relationship reset for couples. Whether you've been married 30 days or 30 years, it is possible, my next guest says, to create a deeper connection with your spouse. So today we're sharing ways to keep your marriage strong and energized. Studio 5 relationship coach and fan favorite, Dr. Matt Townsend, is joining me. I like that you bring your own party.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for telling everybody that there was some really pretty things, good-looking things in the studio.
How did you know? How did you know? I mean, from balloons to cake to Matt Townsend. Thanks for bringing the pretty.
No, thank you.
A nice little hair swoop today, too. I like it.
It's my new hairdo.
I like this topic, too, relationship reset. But here's the thing. There are couples that have been in that relationship for quite a while saying, no way, the reset button can't be that easy.
No, it's more like a rut that they're set in. You got to get out of the rut, and the sooner you get out of the rut, the better off it's going to be. And the way we get out of the rut is we use conversation to actually create connection. So sometimes we don't have connection, we wonder why, and it's because, well, what are you talking about? Like, what do you talk about every day that would actually draw you closer to each other? And most of us, we may not be talking about intimate, deep, wonderful stuff. Instead, we're talking about routines and who's picking up the kids and what's for dinner and, wow, did you see Netflix? And stuff like that. So if you want a deeper relationship, you've got to take the conversations deeper.
Which I don't want to call it easy, but you're basically just saying our words, our everyday words can forge that emotional connection we're after.
Because the words, remember, magnify the thoughts, and they actually symbolize the thoughts we have. So when we talk about communication, we're really talking about symbol sharing and meaning. We're creating new symbols and meaning together. And so if you keep in shallow symbolism, you're going to have shallow relationships. That's why losing somebody in your family or having a really big tragedy creates a lot of really deep conversation. And deep conversation creates connection and deeper intimacy.
The first step you say is to power up your shared purpose, but you also just said don't just talk about the carpool and the kids.
Now, see, I wouldn't say, I mean, that's a shared duty. Those are shared responsibilities that we have to take. But if you're noticing that your relationship is kind of shallowing out in a way, what you might want to do is go together and create a new purpose together. Find something you can do together, and that'll depend on the stage of your life. But it could be, if you're a retired couple, maybe it's time that we think about our retirement. And sit down and start talking about what's our retirement going to look like. Do we want to move? Do we want to cut back? Do we want to shrink all of our bills? What do we want to do? And start talking about that.
This is big picture
Big picture. What are the two things what are the things you can bring and I can bring, but when we combine them together, we can offer the world? And what if we could go figure out something that we could go do later in our life to offer the world? Or what if it's just simply redoing the house, or redoing a kitchen, or redoing something, have some shared purpose that forces you to budget, that forces you to think, that forces you to talk, and get into some of the deeper purposes of life.
Did you just tell people to take on a DIY project?
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing, because I would never say that. Is that what just came out of your mouth? Yeah, I didn't even know I was saying that.
But a project.
That's it. A project, but really a project that is elevating you to a different level of you. And the reason this is so powerful is because it's going to become, a lot of us just live very independent lives, and at some point you have to force interdependence, where we actually need each other. And if we could push each other to a new place where I'm afraid and you're a little afraid, then we can go discover that new place together, and that becomes ours.
You say we also need to get into our partner's head and our partner's heart, tapping into the root of their inspiration, what makes them tick. When
was the last time you sat down and shared something that was truly moving for you emotionally with Mark? Where it's like, you're almost vulnerable about it. Like, I want you to see this video, and you show it, and you might send it to him but not ask about it. But how powerful would it be if I could actually show my wife every day one thing that inspires me, that actually moves me to tears, or at least moves me to some emotion? And what if I made it a goal that for the next week or two, I'm going to send you one a day? One a day, one thing that moves me. It could be a YouTube video, it could be a wonderful poem, it could just be a picture.
What do you think that would do, Matt, for a relationship?
The reality is it would start a conversation, and then you could ask, what is it about that moves you? But it'll also bring you closer together. And what if we could actually not just do it through email? What if I could share it with you eye to eye? And then we talk about it. What if we could actually, I know people that have never cried in front of each other, and they're a married couple.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They won't do it, especially like maybe the man won't show it. But if I could show you and talk to you about what inspires you, and the minute they send you something that inspires them, ask them, what was it about that inspired you? Why did that move you so much? And that will immediately take your conversations out of logic, down into emotion, and then you'll have this shared bond. And you know what? Make it be something that you don't share with everyone else. How many times have you shared, this is a beautiful meme, it will change your life. And you share it with everybody, but you don't even know if your husband saw it. So what if I could actually just give that to my partner, and then let's keep those things sacred. Those are our things.
Really, you're describing, I think, a lot of times the conversations women have with their girlfriends.
I know.
Or their sisters, right?
That's right. No,
we tend
absolutely.
to go a little deeper,
Yeah.
a little softer, a little more raw with those female relationships.
And then we wonder why we don't have it with our partner. And part of it is you don't necessarily need to share it with your partner because you've shared it with someone else. And the reason you have never shared it with them is because that's always been uncomfortable. That's not something we do. But why don't we start reserving some of these moments for each other as a partnership?
You say the quickest way to get back to that feel-good, almost honeymoon type stage is to simply be nice.
Be nice. Like, come on. Grandma said be nice. Mom said be nice.
Thumper said be nice.
Everybody said be nice.
Thumper's mom said be nice, I think it was.
Yeah, see, everybody's mom is into that. There's a lot of niceties that when you're married a while, you quit using. You quit saying the please and the thank you. You quit saying, wow, that was a really good dinner. Thanks for doing that. You quit opening the door, and you quit waiting for the person to be ready before you go out in the car and start honking. We could wait. We could slow down. We could be there. So if you just went back to chivalry, which isn't dead, and we started sharing the niceties, and when somebody looks hot, you say, whoa, you look hot. And then you can't, when they say that, you can't say, no, I mean, I used to look hot, but now I don't look hot. I wish I was hotter. Don't say that. Just shut your flapper. Shut it. And instead just say, you know what? I'm working it today. And own it.
Okay.
And so if I could start getting back to some of the niceties, and you would receive them, magic starts to happen.
And not just words you say, but act on those niceties.
Act on those things, Open the doors. Do those things that you know are the right thing to do with the person you've committed your entire life to. Get back to those things. Start holding each other up like a queen, like a king, like somebody that is really important to you. Because the minute you start holding them up that way, amazingly, they start living up to that level.
So you set the bar and they rise to it.
Set it up there. Get it up there.
And those instincts, you described it as acting on instincts, which I like because it's in us,
It's already in you.
We know what we need to be doing, what we should be doing.
We talk about the battle all the time between our ego and our essence, our good side and kind of our bad side. And our essence will always prompt us into things we should be doing. Our essence will tell us, just touch him. And our ego's like, well, why should I touch him? We know where that's going. We always know where that goes. And your ego will battle you, but your essence is saying, touch him. Or your essence is saying, get up and go do the dishes. So I call those just promptings, and I want people to start following their promptings. When you get a prompting to do something good, do it. Just do it. Just invest in that one thing that you're supposed to do good for your spouse. Just do it. And then, if I were you, I'd even write it down so you're starting to recognize that you are in tune with this better side of yourself. And after you've done it, notice what you feel just having done what your essence was prompting you to do. If you just do what your essence is prompting you to do, amazing things take place. Now, it doesn't mean it'll be reciprocal. It doesn't mean they'll act back in your behalf, but if both of you are watching this, both of you could act and respond on prompting, and when you do, you'll elevate your life, and when you elevate your life, you elevate your peace. And when you elevate your peace, guess what? I don't need you to always reciprocate because I feel good just because I did what was right in my heart.
I'm validated
and it becomes
for the
powerful.
right reasons.
Make sense?
I love this, and I love that this conversation, as we set up, affects every relationship in every stage of the game.
Absolutely.
And I love that last week we got a lot of buzz because you used the term caker.
I know, shut
and
your
today
caker.
that was upgraded to flapper. Caker.
I'm trying to clean up my act.
Flapper.
Yeah. I used to say cake hole. Or pie hole, and then I really got in trouble.
All right, well, thanks for cleaning it up for us. And thanks for this advice. You can get more great advice like this at your date night coming up in November.
Yes, huge deal. November 4th. 2017. It'll be this year.
Oh, good.
Saturday night at 7 p.m. at Olympus Junior High. Go to Date Nights with Matt. We're going to be talking about how to get happiness in your home.
Yes.
What are the principles to bring happiness home? Even if you got a hard life, you can still find happiness. But you got to hurry with these. We're running out of tickets already, and they go fast. So go to Date Nights with Matt. Enter in the Studio 5 as the code, Studio 5, and we'll give you a discount.
This event is always a highlight. I've already started preparing my opening remarks.
I know. It's going to be awesome.
Just wait. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic.
Brooke.
Thanks, Matt.